begin.
Welcome. I am Brother Max. It is October 14th, 2025. You know what that means? It is day 14 of the 31 Days of Fright horror movie project, year 13. And today I'm going to be talking about Tusk. Does it have the perfect runtime? I'll dive deeper into that question here in a second. I need you to do a few things for me is by clicking subscribe, hit the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, and share. And do this to the same, to the 13th Wolfman, Moods, 616. You got Double Shot J, Echo, Professor Macabro, Jennifer Tochi. You got Lamonia, Bones, and Hobbs all doing live streams, and there's just so many others. I think Nanette, I think I need to confirm if Nanette's doing anything this month. But I'm throwing her out there because she obviously is probably doing something spooky anyways. And just go show them some much needed love, because they're keeping the spooky season alive, and they're just awesome people anyways. So just go do that for me. So, and as well as if you watched yesterday's video, I highlighted a drink from the thriller pack from Angry Orchard, and I'm doing the one that I'm scared the most about. This is the Headless Pumpkin. Now, this is hard cider. Now, my love-hate relationship with pumpkin is okay. It's just kind of in the middle, because I don't necessarily go out of my way, except for a pumpkin pie blizzard from Dairy Queen. I only eat one a year, and I'm waiting until next month. But I do like pumpkin pie. So, but I don't go out of my way to get pumpkin spice things or whatnot or whatever. So I'm kind of nervous about this one. This may be my favorite one of the four that are displayed behind me. I've already tried the Berry Bewitched, which was really, really good, and so that's why I'm continuing the series with Headless Pumpkin. So let's just try it, shall we? Yeah, that nice little. Actually, it's not that bad. The pumpkin is not that heavy, and it really is actually pretty good. Actually, I don't know which one I like more now, between the Berry Bewitched and the pumpkin. This one's actually a little bit more subtle compared to the berry flavor of the other one. And these are like ice cold too. These have been in the fridge for like since the beginning of the month. So this is actually really good. Actually, that's pretty good. It's not pumpkin-y. It actually has a nice subtle pumpkin to it, and it's very, very good. Actually, that's really, really good. So, now, as I said at the top of the video, I was going to be, this Tusk had the perfect runtime. This movie clocks in an hour and 40 minutes. Give or take a couple minutes due to credit and stuff, but for the most part, from the beginning to the last teardrop of Wallace's face as he's watching his friends leave him, as he's still in this little walrus habitat, it's about an hour and 40 minutes. Now, I love long movies. I can sit and watch Zack Snyder's 4-hour cut any day of the week. I really wish they would do the Nymphomaniac long version of it. I think it's 5.5 hours long or something like that. But I know it's on 2 discs, but I really want it to be one continuous film. What other, The Watchmen is one of my favorite movies of all time, the 3.5 hour cut. So I love long movies. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. And but sometimes, as of right now, I'm a parent now, and an hour and a half movie is perfect. I don't have time like I used to watch these 3-hour, 4-hour epic movies like I used to, unless he's off for the weekend. But an hour and a half movie is perfect, or an hour and 40, hour 45. give or take. But like but hour 40 is like the sweet spot. It's not too short, not too long. It's just perfect. And Tusk has that perfect runtime. Like last night, or for the live stream, where Wes and Echo was in the chat, and Bones came up. It was I think Anthony was in the chat as well. It's just like, it was perfect. An hour and 40 minutes just to do a quick live stream. It was perfect. And just to sit here and watch a movie, and that's like yesterday's video when I was talking about snacks. Like, it's also like, it goes with the runtime of this. It's like, you don't want to eat popcorn for 2.5 hours long. Like, you're going to be finishing that popcorn pretty quick, and and then it's like, or that cheeseburger or whatever. Like, which I'm really happy to see everyone kind of commenting on what their chips and whatnot for their favorite meal or their snacks for the movie. I really enjoyed reading all your guys' comments. But like, run times, like, my time's precious. Like I mentioned in yesterday's video, like, I have like maybe 2 hours at max, and like, but the thing is, like, I gotta cook my food and get ready, and that extra 20 minutes or so getting everything ready cuts into a movie. So that's why I'm like, the hour 40-minute runtime is perfect. And when I watched, I think I did a short for the uncensored version for the Night of the Living Dead remake, 1990 version. It was I think that's an hour and a half too, and it was perfect. I just sat in my chair, ate my food, and watched it. It was so perfect. So like, anything under 2 hours is really good, and especially when it comes to the horror movies. Like, there's some movies that really work, like if they're really trying to build an atmosphere. Like I think one of the worst cases of that is Terrifier 2. There's no reason for that movie to be 2.5 hours long, or 2 hours and 20 minutes or something like that. It's just too long for that type of movie. Even though there are some really decent moments in that movie, I think, but then they scaled it down for the Terrifier 3, and that movie worked even better when it was a little shorter runtime. So like, longer movies don't always necessarily mean better. Like, Scorsese movies are long movies, and they're fantastically edited and shot and acted, but like, sometimes you just need an hour and a half movie. Like Clerks, Chasing Amy, Tusk, those are just, I'm just throwing out Kevin Smith movies. But let me do a quick glance at the movies. So like, I have like the sweetest versions of the girl who kicked the hornet's nest and stuff like that. Those movies are pretty decently long, but trying to think. But like with Shaun of the Dead, I think Shaun of the Dead runs in about hour 45, I do believe, and it's perfect because it's like, it doesn't overstay its welcome, and that's a big thing. That sometimes movies do overstay their welcome. It's a big shout out to a coworker who just watched Army of the Dead, and I do agree with that movie should have been, I think he said it's like 20 minutes too long or something like that. And yeah, like Zack Snyder movies tend to run a little long, but like, it needs to be trimmed down. So like, when it comes to horror movies, the hour 45, hour 40 is the perfect sweet spot for a horror movie. Like, because I don't mind the little atmosphere building, world building, and I don't mind that little extra 10 minutes or so to kind of get the world set, introduce some characters, stuff like that. So I will give some leniency there, but we don't need 2.5 hour horror movies. I do believe there's a movie got recommended to me called The Cure for Wellness, and I think that's 2.5 hours, which some movies definitely need the length of a long run time. But if we're watching a slasher movie, or a man who is deranged, who kidnaps a podcaster, who turns him into a walrus out of guilt because he killed a walrus when his boat sank, and he's trying to make amends for it. But like stuff like that. Or I think Society runs in pretty low time. You got, I'm trying to think, Reanimator. I think it's only like less than 90. Then most of the slasher movies, like you got Hellraiser and what is it? Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, all those movies tend to run less than 2 hours. And it's fantastic because you don't need long horror movies, at least not my opinion. Like, I don't mind if it's a thriller or a drama. They're like 2.5 hour long movies. I will sit there and watch it all day long. But a horror movie, you kind of just need to get in and get out, you know? Like, sometimes. Yes, there are exceptions, and I'm trying to think if I can, like, pull one off the top of my head real quick. Oh, I think the It movies, It Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, they run over 2 hours, and that's okay. Because they, like, if you look at the source material of Stephen King's It, you're going to need a long run time. But, so yeah, that's just all I really wanted to say. I just wanted to talk about how, like, Tusk just has a good run time. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It doesn't feel like it's going to, like, it doesn't need to be cut short. It doesn't need to be cut, little scenes need to be extended longer. Because, oh, excuse me. that tasted like pumpkin, okay? I kind of forgot I was holding this, but that really tasted like pumpkin on that little burp. Yeah, this is good. I think this one may be my new favorite of the two, even though I like berry flavored stuff, but this is actually really, really good. But yeah, it's let me look. Oh yeah, like Alligator. Like, take that one. That's like an hour and a half change too, hour and some change. But it's like, we don't need to see, like, when the movie gets going and then it kind of just runs its course perfectly. But like I mentioned, like Army of the Dead, it does kind of overstay its welcome, because the thing is, I think he was trying to build more movies, and nothing really came out of it except for like a prequel, which I think the prequel is much better. I think it's Army of Thieves, which follows the safecracker of that movie, which I think it's a better movie than Army of the Dead, minus the opening sequence for Army of the Dead with the Richard Cheese song. But yeah, like, horror movies like Jaws. I think Jaws is under 2 hours as well, and that's perfect. And, like, to me, Jaws is a perfect film. It's one of the few movies that I think is a truly perfect movie. Perfect from start to finish, because it's just so good. And so yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about today. I just wanted to kind of like highlight a drink. I wanted to talk about how Tusk doesn't overstay its welcome with the movie. Yeah, there are some scenes that drag on. I will admit that. Like, there's a scene in the diner where it's like Johnny Depp and the other, you got Teddy and Genesis Rodriguez's character. They are, which is Haley Joel Osment's character, in the scene as well. And they're like they're interviewing or talking with the detective, which is played by Johnny Depp. And it just kind of goes on a little bit too long. He's smashing hamburgers for no reason. It's just kind of like, I know it's just kind of, it's little silly moments like that, but it's like, we want to get back to the walrus stuff, okay? But yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. I just wanted to, like, I know I keep repeating myself, but it's just that when I talked about pretty heavily yesterday, when my time is precious, and like when I get home from work, I want to maximize my time by able to get a movie in or a quick episode of a TV show, and while still cooking my food and everything. And it's like an hour and a half movie is perfect. An hour 40 is pushing it sometimes, but it's still a good runtime for an hour and 40-minute movie. But that's really all I have to say, and that's why I like doing horror marathons. That's another great thing about horror movies being an hour and a half. You can do like 3 or 4 of them in a row, and especially for these long franchises like the Leprechaun movies, they're definitely an hour and a half long. We don't need a 2.5 hour Leprechaun in space movie. Even though I would like to see what they would do with 2.5 hours, but we don't need a 2.5 hour Leprechaun in space movie. Or Jason X in space. Like, those movies are perfectly spaced at an hour and a half for a reason, and they are perfect for marathons. That's why I love, like I just said, like, horror movies are perfectly good for marathoning when their movies are at an hour and a half. Like, I think the Friday the 13th movies are perfect for marathoning because they are legit like an hour and a half each, and give or take a few minutes. But for the most part, like, you can start one, start another, start one, start another, and it doesn't feel like and when by the time you're on the third or fourth movie, it's like, holy crap, it's only been like 2 or 3 hours, so like 3 hours at the most. And so, like, okay, so yeah, like, that's why I like doing horror marathons, because like movies like Tusk, who have a decent runtime, like if I wanted to do a double feature with like I did a few days ago with Tusk and Yoga Hosers, both have very, very reasonable runtimes, like an hour and a half, an hour 40. I know I keep harping on that, but it's perfect. It really is. So that's all I really have to say, and I just wanted to kind of just talk about runtimes for a few minutes. And I want to hear what you have to say in the comments. Like, do you like long horror movies, or do you like short horror movies, or do you think the hour 45, hour 40 minutes is perfect for a horror movie of, like, say, Tusk's caliber? Or and how do I say it? Like, I think I'm trying to like find my words, because I'm just gonna leave it there, and if I can think of it tomorrow, I will. But for the most part, I think when you and it's also okay. This is where I was kind of heading. Like, when you have friends over, you're not gonna like. Okay, I got a story. When the Human Centipede came out, where I was living at the time, had a nice screened-in porch, so we had an outdoor movie night, and let's just say that movie definitely ran its course after an hour and a half. Okay, it didn't need to be any longer. It definitely could have been shorter, but the fact that we all sat there for an hour and a half and watched the Human Centipede Part 1, it was fun. It was a fun experience, but the thing is, like, it definitely didn't need a part 2. And then I think I did a video for part 3, but I didn't even finish part 2 because it was so, like, it was so terrible and gross. And that's for me, who's seen like 120 Days of Solemn, Serbian film, Cannibal Holocaust, stuff like that. Like, I've seen those movies, and I'm like, I feel like I'm less gross and don't need a bath afterwards, or I need to pull my skin off my bones. but yeah. But anyways, these kind of movies that's why I think the hour 45 is the perfect run time for a horror movie. Hour and a half is even better. But I don't, like I mentioned, I don't mind a little extra world building or character development, which can go a long way. So, and that is all I have to say. Thank you for watching today's video. I'm pleasantly surprised at how good this Angry Orchard Headless Pumpkin flavor is. It actually, you know what? I'm so glad I actually got a couple of these left. Is in my box back there. I only got one of each left so far, and I'm glad I'm glad this wasn't as bad as I hoped, or feared, I should say. But I'm actually gonna like really enjoy drinking this one tonight. Like, it was really, really good. So there's only one way for me to end these videos, is by saying thank you. Have a safe and happy spooky season, and just be safe, everybody. That's the more importantly than anything, is I just want you all to be safe, and thank you.